What's going on, guys? Revolutionary Road back at you guys with another stock pick of the week. This week we're going to talk about Organigram. Just a quick update on the stock market. I know a lot of people are kind of worried and they're unsure. Maybe we're going into a recession. Maybe we're going to see a stock market crash. We're already kind of seeing the downward momentum in the market. We're seeing kind of a bull market turn to a bear market in the last few weeks. Definitely a lot of stocks are down. It's definitely a good buying opportunity, but there's also a cautionary note that we need to see where the market goes before we want to be making any big purchases, or before we want to make any big investments. We want to see where the market goes and we want to react accordingly. So if the market keeps dropping, we wait, and until we see a bottom, or until we see a bounce back, or until we see, if this is a full-blown recession, we don't want to be investing any huge amounts. But at the same time, in my opinion, it's not a recession. In my opinion, it's simply just a correction, as many analysts have been talking about, correction to the means, as some would say. But either way, most stocks are down, and overall the market's down pretty bad. It's been pretty down for the past couple weeks. But anyway, besides that, I still want to talk about some stocks because, hey, we always should be looking for opportunities to invest, and that's what I'm going to talk about this week with Organigram. Although it's been doing pretty good in the last few weeks and months, apart from all the other cannabis stocks that haven't been doing as good, Organigram has been able to substantially increase its market share. They have recently uplisted to the NASDAQ. So they went from the OTC in the US, now they'll be trading on the NASDAQ exchange. So this is a really big move for this company. I think Organigram is one of those companies that it hasn't had a lot of big brand name recognition outside of Canada. It's really just big on the East Coast. It's big in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, but not a lot of people know it throughout Canada, but also in the US. So just getting its name out there in the NASDAQ listings is going to give this company a big boost. It already has. But at the same time, like I said, the market has been taking a beating for the past couple weeks, so we need to be aware that there are a lot of signs right now in the economy that things are not as good. So let's be cautious before we invest, but at the same time, let's look at fundamentals and let's look at how these companies plan to make money, and let's see if that's going to make them profitable and if that's going to make them good investments for the future. So one of the things that I want to talk about with Organigram is that they are one of the only organic cannabis producers. This is a big thing. So they actually just received their licensing from Health Canada, issuing that all Organigram product is now certified organic. This comes in light of new expansions in their facilities, which they have just gotten investment from the Bank of Montreal. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about was this closing of the $140 million credit facility. So this is a non-dilutive financing, allows the company to not take from its shareholders, to bring in new capital, invest that new capital, and not take a loss in shareholder or share price value. So that's one of the reasons why they are happy to announce that the Bank of Montreal has issued a $150 million loan to Organigram, and the facility consists of a $150 million term loan and a $25 million revolving credit facility, both of which mature in May 2022. Including in the facility is an uncommitted option to increase the facilities by an incremental $35 million to a total of $175 million, subject to agreement with BMO. So this announcement is not only a financing agreement for the facility, it's also a credit line. So they're opening up what could be a $50 to $75 million credit line, which is a good thing for a company like Organigram to be able to not lose share price value, but be able to pump new capital into its operations. And it's just it just announced that there's expansions in their Moncton facility, so their phase 4 and phase 5 expansions are going to be using this loan and the long-term debt with Farm Credit Canada. The revolving credit facility may be used for general corporate and working capital purposes. So basically saying they're going to be using this to not only finance their Moncton facility, but be just put into their other brands and their other products that they're developing, such as CBDs and chocolate, which is another thing I want to talk about. They're actually moving into the chocolate market. So one big thing that people should be looking at with Organigram and with all cannabis stocks is not just their dried flower and oils, but also their moves into the edible markets and in the beverage markets. And as this article points out, Organigram is not looking to move into the beverage markets. They're moving into the chocolate market. So they're actually investing $15 million into a product line that will be infused chocolate with dried cannabis, and this they believe will be very profitable. So this is something to keep an eye out, that maybe not a lot of other companies are looking to capitalize on chocolate, but Organigram is focusing very, very heavily into the chocolate market, into the edibles market. So this could be something they might have a jump on the competition with, something to keep in mind, and something to be aware of. We already looked at that and the listings, and then yeah, so I want to look at the investor presentation real quick and just talk about their tiered growing facilities. So one of the things that makes them able to have such a high gram per square foot infrastructure is because of their 3-tiered system of growing. So as you see here, you have 3 different tiers. So you have in the same amount of space that some other facilities may only have 1 tier, may only have the bottom tier, this facility has 3 different growing levels, which allows one system or one area to be 3 times as productive as some other facilities. And this is why people are talking about Organigram and saying that, like, you know, even though they might not have the same square footage as some of these other companies, their 3-tiered system enables them to produce just as much cannabis as a lot of these other facilities. And one of the things about them is they are focusing on the adult recreational market and on premium dried cannabis. So that's one of the things that they want to focus specifically on, is the premium cannabis market. I know maybe a lot of other companies are focusing on kind of the cheaper average THC level and maybe average product. But Organigram is trying to focus specifically on premium quality, high quality product in the medical and adult recreational markets. They have a market cap of $1.5 billion. They're expanding in their indoor facilities, unique 3-level production facility in Moncton, as I just showed you. They have distribution agreements with all 10 provinces. So they're distributing across Canada, in BC, in Alberta, and in their main distribution facilities in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, which is where they have a majority of their clients, and a majority of their production happens on the East Coast. So they are very East Coast specific, but like I said, they are partnering and already have distribution agreements with all provinces. So they're selling throughout Canada, and they also are looking for international partnerships in Germany. They're seeking to distribute CBD oils in Germany, which they have already been licensed for, and they're already distributing CBD oils in Canada. So this is just expanding their relative share price and market value. So as it talks here, they've made $26.9 million in the first full quarter of the adult use recreational sales. So in the past 7 months, they've made $25 million essentially in adult, and $2.4 million of medical sales, with balance from other revenue. So, you know, they're still not profitable, which is why I think a lot of people are still on the sidelines, whether they want to actually invest in Organigram. But it's just good to keep in mind that a lot of these companies are not profitable yet, and that it does take time for facilities to come online, for them to be fully operational. As you see here, you know, their production capacity is not going to be full until December of 2019 at the earliest. They're not going to have up to 113,000 kilograms of production per year annually until the end of 2019. So this is why you're going to see them struggling to make, valuations and for them to have profitability, because they're still trying to get their facilities online to full production. And once they get full production, and once this becomes just annual production capacity, and then they go into the chocolate market, they go into the CBD market, it's just expansion. And once this expansion is done, then they start to bring out derivatives, and they get into all these other diversified market shares, which enable them to build their brand and to build their market share. And this is why a lot of these companies are good potential investments, because they're so early in their growth stages that they still have so much room to expand and to grow. And this is just going to keep getting more and more exponential as they become more productive and as they lower their production costs. As we see, their three-tiered studies again, as they talked about before, they are looking to expand into the edibles market, and they're partnering with Canada's Smartest Kitchen to develop premium chocolate products and expandable edibles research and development. They're currently focusing vape pen technologies and have a selection of edible products. So that's the other thing, is that if you go onto their website, they are selling a lot of vaporizers and cannabis oils. So they already have a lot of strains on here, as you see. A lot of sativas, indicas, they have CBD rich strains at 7.5% CBD. They're baleen, and they are looking to expand this production line. And they're also, like I said, producing oils and vaporizers as well. Now, they don't produce these, they're just selling these. So these are produced by other companies like PAX, and they're being sold through Organigram's website, which basically just allows them to bring in more customers and give people more value and more diversity through their website and through their systems of distribution. So that's one of the things that I wanted to point out, and I don't really have much more to say about this company, because I think that most of you out there are already aware how volatile these stocks can be. So right now, at the current stock, the current price, you're going to see quite differing opinions from a lot of people, and you're going to see, oh crap, no, that's just .com. I wanted to go to my other one, but it's not pulling it up, so I'm just gonna pull it up real quick so I don't waste your guys' day looking for one chart, But anyway, so here we go with Organigram and their chart. I just want to go over their chart real quick so I can give you guys a quick understanding of how the stock's been performing and where we should be looking at it in terms of entries and exits. So as you see, the stock's kind of been getting hit just like all the other stocks have been the past couple days, in the past couple weeks. But you can see just a steady uptrend in the past couple of years, right? They've been operational for a few years now, but in terms of their overall market share, their valuations have been about 300 to 400% higher. So this year their stock price has actually done pretty well. I don't know what the hell this thing is doing. Why is it taking so long to load this chart? This is one of the things, you try and do something real quick and you should have it. This is why I need to have it all set up beforehand, because it just wants to be stupid the second you need it to do what it's told, right? It wants to do whatever the hell it wants to do. So sorry about that, guys. It's taken so long, but I'll just leave the regular chart up so I can just show you. The growth, you just see since the beginning of the year, it's up well over 100%. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it's peaked, but it does mean that we should be aware that there might be a downward trend for a little bit until it drops a few percentage, maybe back down to $7. As we see these resistance levels here, we can see that we do have a resistance level, and we have kind of a line here at the $9 mark where we have a lot of selling and buying. So that could be where we want to wait for our entry, is below the $9 and see how it reacts to 9. Yeah. But anyway, that's Organigram. Let me know what you guys think. Have a great day.